Well, hello everybody. Martin Cordner here on the page, The Music of Martin Cordner. I'm going to give you all a wave in case you're seeing it in your news feed and you're seeing that this video is happening. I am tonight with the marvelous, the wonderful, the sublime Dorothy Gates. She's on the other end of a Zoom call at the moment. Give us a wave, Dorothy, say hi.
Hi.
And Dorothy and I have just been reminiscing and catching up a little bit because we've bumped into each other a few times over the years, and I think it's been really interesting tonight for us to talk together. Dorothy and I are going to talk about Salvation Army music making. As you probably know, Dorothy is a very, very talented composer. She's also a member of the New York Staff Band and has been since 2002, and she's an active Salvationist at her core in Spring Valley, and she lives in Warwick, New York. We do say Warwick, that's true. We were just talking about that. In England, we say
Yes.
Warwick, but because it's the American one, we'll say you live in Warwick. And
Thank
just
you.
a couple of interesting things that you might want to know about Dorothy. The first is, at the moment, she's living under a storm warning. So if all the lights go out and something weird happens, it could be, Dorothy's going to keep checking out the window, aren't you?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's very dark out there.
Okay. So there's the winds are getting up, and we're just watching the weather. That's the first thing to tell you. And the second thing is she's got a lovely dog called Jackson, and he's 1 year old, and he might start making some noises in the background. So if you hear growling in the background, it's not Dorothy's husband Mark, it's the dog Jackson, right? Did I get that the right way round,
I think you did, yeah.
Right, okay, cool. Well, Dorothy, thanks so much for coming on this live stream with me tonight. It's really nice to see you. How is life for you? How's life been during lockdown?
Life, I think, for all of us has been rather odd, definitely confining, and difficult at times. But praise the Lord, I'm still gainfully employed, and so is my husband, and neither one of us have contracted COVID-19. So there's lots to be thankful for, but it's definitely been a strange time.
Yeah. I don't think we will have had anything like this in our lifetime, Dorothy, where for the whole world we're living in a strange time.
Oh, it's yeah. I think that is the one thing I take comfort in, that it's a global thing, you know. It's not, you know, we're all in this together. Good grief, you know. How more what a level playing field, as they say.
Yeah, that's right. And that's a positive way of looking at it, Dorothy, actually, that we can, with these kind of things, with talking with each other and with sharing together, we can pull together and get through these things, can't we? That's what I believe anyway.
Definitely.
So you just mentioned there that you're still gainfully employed. So you work for those people out there that don't know, you work for the music department in New York, the Salvation Army's music department. Is it called the music department, or does it have a more fancy name than that?
No, I think it's the music department.
Well, you know how
maybe it does, and I don't know, but you know, I tend to hibernate in my office, so there all changes outside. I don't know what's going on.
So so the music department. And how long have you been working in the department then, Dorothy?
Since 2002, so that's
okay. Yeah,
18 years.
Okay, cool. And are you still able to do all of the work that you normally do? How's your work changed in the last few months?
Well, we were on a as you were yourselves, on, you know, sort of lockdown at the start of this, back in March, and so we were home for, you know, 5 days a week, but we would go on a Teams meeting every day with Derek, the department head, and we would, you know, chat about what we're going to be doing that day, what he needed us to do. And quickly what came out of what the needs were for the territory was the territory decided to put together a worship packet, so to say, or a what's the word I'm looking for? You know, like a TV program, whatever.
A resource.
Yeah. Well, resource, but it's more of a, you know, click on, watch this worship service on Sunday. We're going to provide a service for
Oh,
those
okay. Yeah.
that can't actually go to their core, and core officers that can't go open their core because of whatever. So we provided a worship service. And so part of what we had to do was be the music for it. I ended up playing piano way more from March to now, which has
Okay.
helped my, fingers immensely.
Yeah.
If it hasn't helped the trombone just as much. But it's okay, because
Yeah.
things change, and that's sort of where we are right now. So been working with that, writing music for that, for the small combo groups that we had.
Okay.
So I find that very energizing, because it was a new genre, so to speak, for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And Leanne and I, we've seen you a few times on various online things. We've even used a few of your territories, your department's videos, I think, in our online worship here, which has been fantastic, with you at the piano. And I think sometimes Derek playing the cornet, or whoever. Um, yeah. So you've had to make a little bit of a transition then into, it's still music ministry, but it looks different, doesn't it?
Does look different. I've managed to still keep the publications going. Like, we published the American Band Journal, kept it to schedule for the spring version at least. The Christmas version was probably behind by about a month, because in the
Right.
middle of the summer, we were very caught up working for the Starlake Summer Series, which was an intense 2-month period of Zoom chats like this with, every day type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we each had a select number that we had to prepare. And well, from being at Star Lake, that I would have done the composition class. So I was tasked with doing the composition class
Yeah.
online, and how would that look like? What would that look like? And so we did a lot of work with that, and because of that, our Christmas ABJ got behind, as did our what's the other one? Sorry, senior moment. The New York Staff Band Signature Series.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, it's almost ready to go. Should be being published, by the end of this month, I would
Okay.
think,
Yeah.
at the
Cool.
latest, first week of December.
Good, good, good. Well, that's good that the publishing's still going, although with a few delays. They're inevitable, though, Dorothy, but it's good that it's still going.
Yeah.
Everybody, if you're watching at the moment, Dorothy and I are chatting, but we'd love to hear from you. If you want to say hello, leave us a comment. I can see a few of you are leaving comments as well. Thank you for that. And if you have a question or something you want to know about Dorothy, and if she can answer, I'm sure she will, but if she can't, she might have to come back to us, or whatever. But, join in the conversation. So, Dorothy, I'm just going to see what comments we've been left so far. Diane Barker. Hi, Diane. Thanks for watching. Dorothy, a question for you. Where did you get the inspiration for the piece War Cry? And is it published? Well, the question is it published in the UK? I don't think it is, but...
It is.
Oh, it is published. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's in the Judd Street collection.
Oh, right. Well, there you go then, Diane. So it's in the Judd Street collection. You'll find that at SPNS and all good Salvation Army music retailers everywhere. Do you want to talk just briefly about your inspiration for that piece, Dorothy? Where did it come from?
It was basically Ron asked me to write an opener for our 125th anniversary, which was going to be, I think it's 125th. Yeah, we had our 125th before the 120.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it was going to be a big occasion at Carnegie Hall. So he wanted something sort of in your face, and yeah, I've always loved the song. I think probably because of my mom and dad, the old songs mean a lot to me, because mom used to play them at the piano. So Ever Is the War Cry, I thought was a perfect sort of song
Right.
for, to be treated in a sort of in your face kind of way. But I really didn't know what I was going to do. And to be honest with you, I was supposed to have it ready in January for our first rehearsal. And in true to form, at Christmas, I didn't have anything. And I was I was in Chicago with my sister-in-law. We were spending Christmas with Beverly, and we went to see a film. And I'm trying to remember the film. I can't remember the name.
Mm,
Oh, Sherlock Holmes. It was the
yeah.
second Sherlock Holmes film, and it was so fast moving and so scintillating. I came away just like on complete steroids or edge or
Mm,
whatever, and I immediately knew what I was going to do with Ever Is the War Cry,
all right.
based on that, how the music sounded in that and the
Mm,
intensity of that. And so I came home that night and just started writing. And before we went back to Chicago, back to New York, I had the piece done, but it took a little sort of push from
yeah.
somewhere
Yeah.
else, definitely outside of me.
Yeah, and you know what? It just totally resonates with me as well. That I've learned to ask for a date, you know, from people who request music because that's quite a motivator, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
You can go for a
fear of a
week.
deadline.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And or because you know the occasion is happening on such and such a day, you don't have any choice. It has to be delivered. So that sometimes is the only way, and sometimes that fear or dread actually causes ideas to come, doesn't it? And whether it's desperation or whatever, or prayer, you know, as it so often I'm sure is, we get inspiration, and it often comes that way. Thanks for that question, Diane. That was really, really good. We'll answer one more comment. Michael Baker. Oh, hi,
Oh my
Michael.
goodness.
He says, hi, Dot. And then in his
Hi,
second
Mike.
comment says, oh, hi, Martin. So I don't mind being the second at the two, Michael. That's fine. Hope that you're well. Thanks for watching.
Oh,
So then, Dorothy, let's just find a little bit more about you just for a couple of minutes.
okay.
We've just talking about your role there and the kind of things that the music department's been busy with the last few months. You're at Spring Valley and you're a musician at the core, isn't that right?
That's correct.
Uh, Come on and tell us, do you enjoy singing in the songsters more than playing in the band, or playing in the band more than singing in the songsters? Depends if Derek Lance is watching this stream, doesn't it?
I don't care. um, to be honest, I love it. I love both, but I really enjoy singing. I don't sing very well, but I just love that. There's something really earthy about
Mm,
singing with other
yeah,
people
yeah,
that it's not the same. I mean, you're using your own instrument, within
yeah,
you to make
yeah,
your horrible or gorgeous noise, depending on what you've been gifted with.
yeah, yeah.
But just the thought of using that with other people and they're using their instrument as well. And there's just something so special about that process and
Mm.
spiritual that I love it.
Yeah, yeah. Dorothy, I don't know whether you or any of our viewers tonight have come across a young lad from London called Jacob Collier. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty
uh,
incredible.
incredible, isn't it? And I've really just found out about him in the last few weeks, to be honest. And so I've been watching a few of his YouTube videos. If you're really interested in how music works, the science of it, and you know overtones and frequencies and microtonality and all this kind of stuff, Jacob Collier, you need to go and watch his videos. But Dorothy, he talks about vocal groups being how they can be the most in tune ensemble because each of the singers can adjust to the overtones that they're hearing, and it just makes the whole thing in tune more so than any other group. And
Mhm.
I thought that was a fascinating observation.
Yeah, I
But
think so.
yeah, you're right. It's totally natural. It comes from our own lungs and our own heart and our soul and our emotions and everything.
Yeah.
Um, I'm talking like I love singing as well, and I don't, to be honest with you. But I do appreciate and I really love listening to choral groups, definitely. So Dorothy, you're known to us as a composer, but what else do you do in your spare time? Do you have any other hobbies or interests? What's Dorothy Gates like to do in her spare time?
Okay, well, first of all, Martin, I have to say, you're a composer, so we don't have spare time. In the spare time, we are writing.
Yeah,
When we're not working, being a husband or a wife or a father, whatever, I'm a mother to a dog and possibly a husband. I
yeah.
didn't say it. Um, but yeah, the spare time is rare, and when I
Mm,
have it, I want to write. But if there's an extra moment, I love to read.
Right.
Um, I used to love to draw. I haven't been able to draw for ages because I'm
Mm,
not going to take the time to draw well, if I've procrastinated on a deadline, I can't. And
sure.
I tend to procrastinate on
Yeah.
deadline.
Yeah. Hey, that's interesting. And I used to enjoy drawing in my younger days as well. And
Mhm.
perhaps it's part of a kind of a it's another creative process. It's another way of it's another form of composition, isn't
Yeah,
it? When you
I
draw,
think so. I think so.
yeah,
Cooking as
um,
well. I find cooking the same way. Although I don't think my husband's too thrilled when I use him as a guinea pig for, creative
yeah,
recipes.
yeah. So you compose as you cook. Then you're
Yeah.
taking
Oh, a wee bit of
ingredients.
this and a wee bit
Yeah.
of that.
Okay. Okay. He's probably glad that what you're most well known for is musical composition rather than food composition.
Definitely.
Okay. And you've been in the New York Staff Band since 2002, so 18 years now on the trombone section. And you've sat in chair at various times during those 18 years. How
Yep.
did your appointment to the Staff Band come about back in 2002?
I think it was almost synonymous with the employment. I think all of us within the department play or played in the staff band. And I'm not saying it's in our job description, might be now, but it wasn't when I started, but it was expected. It was an expectation.
Right.
And so Ron asked me if I would, um, be willing to do that, and that he would like me to do
Mm.
that. And
Yeah.
so I received an appointment letter. I didn't really have to audition. At least if I did, if I, yeah, if it happened, he did it, just by listening to me and not telling me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Um, and you've done 18 years consecutively. There's been no
Yeah,
break, is there?
no break. Except
No. No.
now,
No.
sort of, because the
Yeah.
the band are sort of back, but I'm not playing with them at the minute just because I'm just worried for my husband. He's considered high
Right.
risk, and I,
Yeah.
I can't think of being in a room, no matter how big, with 35 other people
Yeah.
playing
Sure.
a rock
Yeah.
instrument.
Yeah. Well, a few of the staff bands have been doing various projects, haven't they? And I know your band is. They have been in a room together. I think the Chicago staff band have done that as well, which has been great. But of course, as countries sort of come in and out of lockdown, that just changes all the time.
I think so.
And we've not yet seen the ISB in a room together. They're not going to be in a room together right now with national lockdown here in the UK at the moment. In England, sorry, I should say. But anyway, here's hoping. Let's just see if we've got any more comments. Dorothy, if you're watching, please say hello in the chat. We'd love to know that you're here. Andrew Mayer says, hi, Martin and Dorothy, enjoying the chat. Hi, Andrew.
Right.
Dorothy, you know Andrew, don't you? Or you
Mhm.
know of him.
Yes.
He's a Sox leader in Sunderland here in the UK. And he's written some really lovely music as well.
Yes, yeah.
Michael Baker's got a question.
Oh
Are you
no.
ready?
No, I'm not ready for Michael's
He's not ready
question.
for Michael's question. He says, what is a tune you really connect with that you've not already used in a piece?
Dear Lord and Father of mankind.
All right. Right. Yeah. Repton.
Repton.
Dorothy, can we have an agreement? I've been thinking about using that tune for a few weeks now. And
It's yours.
yeah, is that, well, look, if you get there first, I reckon we could still be
No.
friends.
No, there's no chance of me getting there first. There's several missed deadlines that I'm, chasing at the minute. So there's
Okay. Well, and by the way, I've got no plans or not much time in front of me that I can see for sitting down writing a piece either. But anyway, yeah, I think that's by Hubert Parry, a British composer, and it's just such an elegant
oh,
and thoroughly British tune,
mm,
if you don't mind me saying, being a Brit who now lives in the States.
I don't mind at all.
Yeah. It's so maybe we'll see a Dorothy Gates Repton setting. And Philip McCann, hi Philip, I'm glad that you're watching. Good to have you part of the live stream. He says if you can't sing it, you can't play it. That's a good point, isn't it? You should be able to, all cornet players and trombone players and brass players, you need to be able to know the songs, you need to be able to sing the songs, you need to be able to understand what it is that you're playing.
Definitely.
Good comment. And also, Dorothy, one thing it's taken me a while to realize, but now I realize, and I'm thankful I realize, is that without the songwriters, people like you and me who write for brass would have nothing to do.
Right. Well, at least within the army realm.
Yeah, that's right, definitely. Well, all that we would be coming up with would be stuff that's just in our heads, that's just totally made up, and it would just be music. But we're actually taking people's songs and presenting them, hopefully in a relevant or a fresh way, aren't we? And yeah, I've often, or as I say, more recently, come to appreciate that. So thank you, all you songwriters out there. And by the way, I'm just going to say this, and Dorothy doesn't know I'm going to say, but she's obviously a woman, Dorothy, and she's one of our few female brass composers in the Salvation Army. If you're a lady out there and you are getting into writing music, or you would like to get into writing music, we just want to encourage you to just do that. Why don't let this be a male dominated occupation, a male dominated thing. It's been like that for far too long. So come on, you ladies, we need more Dorothy Gates in our journals, please. Great. Anyway, that was just a little soapbox moment there. I'm going to move on. So Dorothy, when I talk to another composer, I just love to know who or what it is that has inspired you over the years. Tell us a little bit about going back. What's your Salvation Army, background? Where did it all begin? Did you come to the army, or were you born into the ranks?
Born into the ranks, fifth generation Salvationist. Mum and dad were officers when I was a wee baby, and came out of the work because my dad was ill. And my dad then turned to music teaching, and my mum turned to floristry. She was a florist as well.
Right.
So, as well as a fine piano teacher. So that's sort of where my...
Yeah. And Dorothy, I must just tell everybody as well that we would, when we were chatting earlier, we think we must have first met when I lived in Belfast. And at that time, your mum lived in a Salvation Army Eventide home. She's also called Dorothy, and
Yes.
she and I used to go there once a month and lead this kind of meeting for all the residents there. So I think what happened was there was a rota, and different officers from the area used to go in, and your mum was the pianist, and I seem to remember every time I went there in every month, she was there in full uniform, right?
Oh yeah.
And she was playing the piano, so she was the pianist for the group. And all I had to do was say, well, could we have 3 verses of Count Your Blessings? And she'd say, yeah, no problem. And she would sit there without the music, and just away the tune went, and it was fantastic. She was a lovely, lovely lady, a lovely woman of God, Dorothy. And she went to heaven in 2012, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so then that meant that we had been talking before that, but that meant that you came over for your mum's funeral, and we were able to meet in person, which was nice. And we've met a few times since, because I came over to your side of the pond in 2014. Hey, was that Jackson or Mark?
Both. You'll hear them both, because
Okay.
Mark is going to try to get him to be quiet. Oh dear.
I wondered how long it was going to be before Jackson wanted to be part of this conversation.
Okay.
That's all right. So yeah, I came over in 2014 because it was for a profile weekend, but Ron invited Leanne and me very kindly. We were able to come to your department and meet you all. And I think we sat in one of your team meetings or something, which was a real honor.
Yes.
Yeah, do you remember that?
I do remember that.
And then we met at Star Lake since then. I can't remember what year was it. 2017? I think it was 2017.
I think it was 17.
Yeah. Oh, that was a fantastic experience as well. Amazing. Yeah. Anyway, maybe that's a subject for another video. Tell us. We're just talking about inspiration, and while we're still on the subject of inspiration, what about your conversion experience? What happened to you as a kid or as a teenage young woman, or whenever it was, that had a spiritual significance, in your faith journey? Can you remember any moments like that?
Definitely. Well, as a young Salvationist born into the ranks, you sort of go through all the different sort of rites of passage, so to speak. You become a junior soldier, you do these things, and whether you really have a grasp of what it is you're doing or not. I'm not really sure. I'm thankful that I was involved in all that sort of thing. Uh, but when I was a teenager, I most definitely rebelled somewhat quietly because, you know, I wasn't going to do it too openly. It was a bit covert, let's say. And I, yeah, I sort of went down the road that a lot of young people do, you know, finding pleasure in other things, most definitely not the core, um, or the Lord, even though I was professing that that's what I was, wearing uniform, playing in the band, singing, and, you know, playing for the songsters at that point in time, whatnot. But I had an experience, conversion experience, I would call it for sure, um, when in my first year of university, when I was faced with the truth of who I really was. And when you're faced with that truth and you see yourself as God sees you, you're left with no choice but to sort of either choose Him or continue down your merry way. So I chose Him. I think He really chose me.
Yeah. Well, he chose us long before we were born. That's what the scriptures
Right.
tell us, right? Yeah, but oh, that's really good to hear, Dorothy. Thank you for that. I'm sure there'll be young people who might see this video who can relate to that as well. I guess, you know, when we get to our kind of age, Dorothy, and we look back over the years, we can see how we've wandered and we've chosen our own path. And but you know, God's faithful, and he never leaves us. We walk away from him sometimes, but he doesn't leave us. That's what I've
Right.
come to understand.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Let's just see if we've got any more comments. A love heart sign from Michael. I think that's for me. I don't think it's for you, Dorothy.
I think it's for you. I think he
Yeah, I
likes
think so.
you.
Keith Brown. Hi, Keith. Thank you for your question. Can you tell us about your piece, The War Cry? Oh, Keith, you just missed it because Dorothy was telling us about The War Cry about 10 minutes ago. So perhaps if you could watch that on playback, he'll get to hear all about it there. So good question, Keith. Thanks for that. David Edmonds. Hi, David. Glad that you're watching. He says, no question, just want to thank Dorothy publicly for her support and guidance. God bless you in your ministry. So that's from
Thank you, David.
David Edmonds. Philip McCann says, Repton is my favourite hymn tune. Well, there we go then. So if we make it a cornet solo, then we've got somebody, right, Philip, to play that. Thank you for saying that.
I think you do.
And he also said, I use Dorothy's setting of Be Thou My Vision or stroke Slain very regularly with organ accompaniment.
Yeah.
Is that cornet solo, Dorothy?
Yeah, it's a cornet solo. It's in our American Soloist album, number 8, I think. Shameless advertising there, but yeah, that's it. I haven't actually. I don't think I've ever made it into a band piece. Aaron used to do that when Aaron was in that particular role. Aaron Vanderbilt, he would have made the sort of connection between, okay, we've written all these solos, now it'd be really, with piano accompaniment in the soloist album, it'd be really brilliant to score it for band. And he was very faithful at doing that and helping us, you know, make that happen with the journals. But
yeah,
that little piece sometimes falls through the cracks these days.
So we should just explain, Aaron is in charge of trade, isn't that right? Or
correct?
Is he the top man in trade? I think he might be.
He is, yes.
So you obviously have some kind of working relationship. You're obviously friends, but you have a working relationship because you handle the music editorial side, don't you, Dorothy? And he handles the publication side. Is that how it works?
No, he handles all of it, I guess. I mean, all the sort of selling and all that sort of stuff of whatever. But he used, when I first came to the department, that's sort of what I was alluding to, because that piece was written ages ago. When I first came to the department, he was in the music department, and his job was sort of shared between trade and music.
Right.
He was sort of like the liaison for trade or something. I probably completely wrong, but he did both.
Okay. Yeah, and he's a top guy as well, and a very, very good euphonium player.
Yes, he is.
And Dawn Wright, hi Dawn. Dawn says, just saying hi, Dawn from Luton. Agreed with, we need more female composers. Yes, Come on, Dawn, maybe it should be you. But anyway, all you ladies out there, thank you for that comment, Dawn. So, Dorothy, who were the key people in your life that have inspired or encouraged you with? Because let's get this right, you're a pianist, a trombone player, and presumably, I'm presuming, composition came after those two things, did it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
Not too much longer after. Trombone was first, piano
yeah.
was next, composition next.
So give us three people. Who was the person that started you off on the trombone?
My dad.
Oh wow, how sweet! And you stuck with it as well, because usually when a parent tells a kid to do something, they say no.
Yes. Well, my dad was very smart. He started me when I was in awe of him because he would be practicing his trombone every night when I was a wee thing. And so I was a daddy's girl, wouldn't go to bed without, getting a sound out of my dad's trombone.
Right.
And then, so I think the love of dad and love of trombone became synonymous.
Yeah.
And but he was a school teacher, so he knew when that moment came that I was kicking back. He
Yeah.
sent me the lessons immediately.
So he started you off and then
Yeah.
pushed you out the door to somebody else when you got too different. Okay, yeah, great. And what about playing the piano then? How did that come about?
That was my mom.
Oh, right, okay.
Yep.
That's really interesting. It's literally an in-house operation.
Oh, it was. We had the Von Wyatt family singers, but mom and dad were ten boys. You think I'm kidding?
So you sang as a family?
We sang as a family, my sister and me, not my brother. My brother was sort of out of the picture by then, had made his own path of not being involved. But it was my sister and myself, Karen, me, and my dad and mom. Mom would play the piano. She would sing and play at the same time, as I'm sure you remember.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we would sing things and we would play solos. Karen would play a cornet solo, I'd play a trombone solo, Dad would play a trombone solo, Dad and I would play trombone duets, and then the three of us would try to play something. And so we were the music ministry, and Dad was a fantastic preacher, as was Mum, but Dad was a brilliant preacher. When we would go as a family to preach, to teach.
Yeah, yeah. Amazing. Oh, I would love to hear a recording of that, Dorothy, at some point.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't. Okay.
I'm very thankful none exist.
Okay. Good. Just a couple more comments, Dorothy. Richard Tinkler. Richard's from our core here in Cambridge. Hi, Richard. He says, very true, especially click tracks. You can't sing if you can't play it. You can't sing it if you can't play it. Oh, yeah, I guess so. I guess we're talking about the synergy between playing and singing again there. Thanks for that, Richard. Ilaria Castaldo. Hello, Ilaria. Says, love very much your arrangement of Breathe.
Oh, thank you.
Now, Dorothy, that's one of your earlier ones, and that's one that I think that might be the first brass piece that I came across of yours. Either that or was it The Lamb? They were about the same time. The Lamb is a trombone solo, right?
Yeah, The Lamb was actually written in '99,
right.
But it didn't get published until later than that, and it's published in the festival series.
Okay, yeah, and Breathe is, this is the air we breathe. This is the air I breathe, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lovely setting. Thanks for that. And Fred and Basie, Dorothy, you should talk about the glory of Jehovah. Okay, thanks, Fred. We've only got 25 minutes left. Dorothy, can you give us a quick 30 seconds on the glory of Jehovah? This is a, in case people don't know, this is a massive, I mean, we talk about large scale. It's probably the largest, I'm imagining the largest piece you will have written. Do you want to give us a quick 30 seconds on where it came from, what it's about?
Long story short, it's the entire book of Exodus, all 40 chapters. And it's just basically cinematic music. So we were talking earlier about just pure music, no arrangements. That's basically what this is. At least the first four movements, just pure descriptive music.
Okay.
And the last movement is pretty much an arrangement but sort of melded around all the ideas from before in the rest of the piece of Holy Spirit, You're Welcome Here, the praise and
Mm.
worship song.
Yeah, yeah. I think
And
Derek asked you to do this for the staff band, didn't he?
he did. He asked me to write it. He really wanted a symphonic piece. He wanted a sort of a symphony for brass. He told me how long he wanted it to be. He told me when he needed it, that came and went a couple of times. But I knew for sure he needed it by January for the band to go to start practicing to go to the Canadian staff band's 50th anniversary. So it was written for that. It was for
Mm.
their moment. It was for
Yeah,
our staff band's moment.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. And I think it's gone to CD now as well, hasn't it?
it's on CD, and if you want to find out about the whole story, if you go on YouTube, there's a whole interview with Derek and myself. We walk through the piece and the process, and
Cool.
it's pretty long, but you know,
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I
Yeah.
don't have
Well,
a lot of time here.
Fred, thanks for throwing that in there. And Dorothy Omar Perez from Argentina says
Oh,
greetings from Argentina to Dorothy. We love her. Three exclamation marks.
oh, my heart! I love you too. I want to come and visit again.
Hey, one day, eh?
One day.
One day, one day. Great. Okay. Hey, Dorothy. What about other influences before we'll get on to music making in a second, you know, what kind of music you're enjoying and things like that. But tell us about any Bible verses or songs that have been meaningful to you that you've maybe employed in, you know, arranging or inspiring you in some way.
Right. Um, well, I have a life verse. I would call it a life verse. I feel like uh, the Lord gave it to me before I came over to the States. It's around about May time of 1988. Um, Psalm 37, verse 4. Delight yourself in the Lord, um, and He will give you the desires of your heart.
Mm,
Um, and yeah, I think that has been true for me when I'm lost in working for Him. Then things happen that I never expected. Um,
yeah,
and things
yeah.
like that.
Good. Thanks for sharing that Bible verse. Richard Tinkler is watching, has left his comment say he loves Psalm 139. But yeah, Psalm 139 is an awesome psalm as well, isn't it? About because I think that's because earlier we were talking about how God knew, God chose us before we were born, God formed us, and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff. Yeah, thanks for that, Richard. These are great comments, everybody. Thank you for saying hello and for leaving some questions as well. Please continue to do so. All right, and Dorothy, so we're dying to know about your music making and what sort of. I'm wondering. We spoke about Jacob Collier a few minutes ago. That's something that I've really enjoyed. Are there any styles or genres that you're really enjoying at the moment?
well, if you were to go for a ride in the car with me, go for a little drive, we'd be listening to a choral music CD. It's just a mixed bag of classical choral music. I can't remember the title of the CD, but For a Requiem does feature in it a lot.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I suppose I have a darker side, but I
Yeah.
absolutely love that piece of music.
Yeah.
Um, Completely opposite end of the spectrum, then I absolutely adore Billie Eilish.
All
Um,
right. Yeah.
I think she's very creative, and I just love her sort of understated approach. And so I love listening to her stuff. And yes, you said Jacob Collier and
Mm.
whatever. So we never really got around to talking about who my composition influences were, though,
Oh
either.
yeah. Sorry. You're right.
No,
Yeah.
that's all right. But there's been a few. David Catherwood, to mention one. He was my YP band leader, and he was studying at Queen's at the time. He was my YP band leader, and his harmony just I just loved his harmony. The sounds that he was able to create and make were new and fresh to what we were singing or playing on a Sunday. And then at school, my music teacher, Mr. Walker, was an incredible organist, a fellow of the Royal College of Organists, and an incredible harmony teacher. So I owe a lot to him, I believe. He gave me a really good grounding in harmony and its function. And then my dad was always arranging something for school or arranging something for friends in the family for the corps. And then at university, it would have been Kevin Volans, who resided in Dublin for a while or had moved to Dublin. I don't know if he's since moved back to South Africa. He's originally South African, but he was an incredible composer who opened my eyes to just exactly what could be done with everything, rhythm, harmony, whatever.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's
Yeah. No, that's really interesting to hear. Thank you. When I was looking back through your publications, it looks as if Sleek Little Jesus was your first brass composition. Now I know that before that you were telling me that you'd had one or two choral pieces as well for singing companies, the junior choirs here in the Salvation Army at the end of the 90s. But I was interested in Sleek Little Jesus. That was in the American Band Journal as well. But how did that piece come about, Dorothy? What was the inspiration?
It came about because I was asked to write a horn solo, basically for a solo for the. I can't remember which came first, to be honest with you. I think the piano came first. There was we were talking about the American soloist album, and number 7 is a Christmas album, and I did a piano version of this. Now I can't remember, like I said, if the piano version came first.
Right.
And Aaron called me and asked me to do, would you be interested in doing scoring it for band for ABJ? Yeah. Right. And I think that's how it happened, but I could be wrong. It's a wee while ago now, and
I think
I have got that flip flopped.
About 2002. So that was about the time that you had this new chapter in your life with the staff band and coming to work in the department. It was around that time, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Right, cool. And I'm just wondering, when you look back at that piece in 2002, would you do it differently now if you had to write it, or are you still using techniques in that piece in your stuff today?
I am using the same basic techniques. I think I consider myself a composer more than an arranger, even though what I do on a daily basis for the Army is probably more arranging. But I use compositional tools more than I would just purely simply, take a tune and arrange it and give it fresh harmony and whatever.
Yeah.
I tend to dissect tunes the way a composer dissects melodies and creates something out of nothing and creates more material. I love creating more material. And one of the ways I've always done that, actually under the tutelage of Kevin Volans, my teacher at Queen's, he was big into serial music. Now, I didn't really like serial music aesthetically. I didn't really like it. But I loved the mind games, let's say, of how it's created with the primes and the retrogrades. You make your own. So if you've got your own material, and in this case, if you've got, the tune Sweet Little Jesus Boy, my tendency is to go through the tune to find what interests me the most about it. Could just be one interval. It could be a little tiny snippet of 3 or 4 notes because it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Or the words of a particular section could be just, oh, that's really the essence of what this piece is about. So then you learn how to develop that. I'd still do that. Now, it may sound different if I did it today. But that's basically my approach, is to sort of soak in the words first and then take the melody apart and make my own material from it.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, I think probably I can certainly that resonates with me, Dorothy, that you're looking for inspiration in the shape of the tune sometimes, aren't you? And it can be a phrase or You know, I'm just thinking of a John Williams melody. A lot of his slow melodies, the love themes start with a sixth, you know, and things like that. And yeah, I guess we are arrangers by profession, although we're not professional, I guess. I certainly aren't. It's a hobby for me, but there is a huge element of composition that goes into arranging, doesn't it? And I think our arrangements would be very, very dull if they were just settings. I think they need to be brought to life, don't they? And I think the privilege that people like you and I have, Dorothy, is that we can bring another angle on a tune, or bring out another truth from the song, or highlight something. And it's a real privilege, actually, isn't it? We said earlier that without songwriters, we would be kind of out of a job, largely out of a job. But there is a sense of privilege, I find, in taking a song, and whether it's an Yvonne Field song or, you know, whatever, and trying to present that in a fresh way. Gosh, I'm waffling on a bit there. Sorry, Dorothy. People want to hear from you. Let's just see whether we've got any more comments coming in. Everybody, we've probably got one more chance to answer your questions and read out your comments if you're saying hello. So get them in there now, please. Ian Kershaw says, greetings from BCB, Dorothy and Martin. Please keep the blessings coming. Thanks, Ian. We'll do our best. Thank you very much. Philip McCann. Oh, Philip, you've stuck with us this whole time. Thank you so much. Be Thou My Vision is a very emotive, atmospheric setting and would work really well set for band, especially all the sustainable sounds to open. That's why I like to use it when an organ is available in churches. So has it gone to brass yet, Dorothy?
The actual, not as a solo, it is in brass form for band, for full band, no solo.
Right. And what's it called? What's it called in its full band setting?
Be That My Vision.
Okay. How long did it take you to think of that one? Anyway. Okay. And by the way, while we're talking about an Irish traditional tune, we haven't said, but your home is Northern Ireland, and my wife is from Northern Ireland as well. And one thing I've really learned is not to call people from Northern Ireland Irish. So if you live outside of the UK or outside of Ireland, sometimes it's hard to get a grasp on how it all works geographically and politically. But basically, they're two separate countries, right? So you're the Northern Irish girl, aren't you, Dorothy?
I am indeed, but I won't, bite your head off if you call me Irish.
Oh, okay.
I've been in America long enough. Everybody calls me Irish. So
okay. That's very nice of you. Munash Chikwazero. Hello, Munash. He says, hello, Dorothy and Martin. And what else have we got? Andrew Lee, you might be our last comment tonight. Andrew Lee says, I haven't got a question, just interesting to listen to the conversation. Thank you, Andrew. Well, we're glad that you're interested in what we're saying, because sometimes we might be wondering if any of it's making sense, but what you're listening today, everybody, is two people who love the Lord, and two people who are passionate about the Salvation Army, and two people who just love to put pen to paper to try and communicate a message in music. And I don't know, I heard this said recently, Dorothy, that I don't think most people understand how difficult it is to write something, anything, let alone anything good. And I can't profess to have written anything good. Other people might have a view on that, but all of the talent, if you want to call it that, all of the ability that I have, God has enabled me to have a fascination with that in my mind and learn. And He's helped me fan the flame, if you like.
Yeah.
But is that a fair summary of what we're doing?
I feel the same way. I feel that God is the creator. I'm not the creator. And that He chooses, I'm the medium He chooses to use. And He speaks through me. I don't see it as my talent. I see it, I see it as something that God has entrusted me with.
Yeah. And I think Dorothy as well, it begins with him, but it ends with him. So it's a kind of a circle. So the inspiration starts with him. It comes to a composer, a writer, a sculptor, a photographer, an artist, whatever that person is. They assemble that into something. Then it's given to somebody. It
Yeah,
is meant
and it's
to
given
come
back
to
to him.
life.
It's given right back to him when you're done with it. At least
It
that's
is. It comes the whole way back to as a congregation or whoever views the painting or listens to the music. Hopefully they thank God, and then it comes back to him in that way. It's amazing, isn't it?
yeah.
We like the cycle of fifths, but we like the cycle of inspiration from God our Father even better. Right. Okay, just a couple more things, and Dorothy.
All right.
Um, what about your choral output? Because, like, being a brass band writer myself, I'm very familiar with your brass stuff. I'm not so familiar with your
Right.
choral work. Do you see it as a different kind of a challenge? And do you have a preference? Do you prefer choral writing, or do you prefer writing for band?
I just like writing, so I don't really mind what the genre is. I'm game to take anything on. Chorally speaking, I suppose I have tended over the years to write for groups that I might have been the leader of. So I was the songster leader at Spring Valley for a time, and I would have written, arranged, songs that I thought our songsters could handle. And some of those may have been published either in um, England or in USA South. Um, and yeah, like we talked earlier, the first things that were actually published of mine would have been early children's choir, singing company music. There's at least two or three of those before um, the brass music was published. Even though I would have been writing that at the same sort of time.
Mm,
And, we talked about the Lamb. That Lamb and the Living God were probably the first two brass pieces I wrote around
right.
about the same sort of time.
Mm,
Um, and so, but they weren't published for a while. And I think that's
mm,
just true. That's just how it works out.
yeah.
But the choral writing, I also did stuff, when I was the band chorus, that New York Staff Band
Mm,
chorus leader. I also wrote some male chorus
yeah.
item for them. And it was the same sort of thing. It's like I wasn't really finding what I wanted um, to sort of portray as a group. So I would have written some things, or the ability of the group demanded that I write something different. Or the ability may be so absolutely amazing with like the guys in the staff band, they can sing and read anything.
Mm,
And so it was fun to sort of like see how
yeah.
far you can push it.
Yeah. Yeah. Am I right in saying, Dorothy, that the Eastern Territory doesn't produce a choral journal, does it?
No, no, it does. What am I talking about? I'm an idiot. Rewind.
That's all
Uh,
right. Yeah. I can't
Psalms
think of what it's called.
is a journal that we produce. Um, Psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs.
Right. Yeah.
The, Basically a unison two-part book, very simple, idea being simple piano accompaniments with backing tracks that can be
Yeah.
used for ARC choirs, Adult Rehabilitation Center, for those who don't know what ARC is, and uh, you know just junior choirs or adult choirs of any kind that
Yeah.
really only have an octave range, and maybe you're just starting out.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Dorothy, if people have songs that they've written or brass pieces that they've written and they're interested in sending them to the States or to your department, how do they go about doing that?
Oh, just find us on the Salvation Army email or go to the staff band website and send a message through there. The webmaster will get it to us, to
Okay.
me,
Okay.
there,
So
wherever.
we need to just Google the department and get the email address. And do the pieces come to you first of all?
They do on the whole. It just sort of depends which route it takes. If it's done sort of on a personal level, say to Derek as the bandmaster, then yes, he'll get them first, clearly. But sometimes people write to me directly first, and when it goes to the website, then yes, it'll come to me.
Cool. Cool. Great. Great. Okay. Thank you. Um, Come on then. What are some recent lessons that you've learned with composition? Because we're all still learning, right?
Oh, definitely.
What have you been learning lately?
Um, I think the wonderful thing about this whole lockdown thing is we've been forced to do something that I think most of us are really bad at, which is taking time, taking time for ourselves, taking time for family, taking time for life, taking time to breathe, for crying out loud. So for me, what I've been learning is to take more time with my writing and respect the process more.
Mm.
Um, in that, as you know, we're very deadline driven, and my job is very deadline driven. Um, so it, and because I'm such a terrible procrastinator, um, then that just creates all kinds of problems. Now, it's a problem to be solved, and it's a piece to write. So you do it, and you churn it out, and you do it, and you churn it out, and there's something that happens in that process which is good. But there's also something I think to be said for letting a piece germinate, letting the ideas marinate, and I'm talking in cooking.
Yeah, are you sure you're talking about music here?
Yeah, so um, there's something about that is a very respectful process. It's like, be
Mm.
still and know that I am God. None of us are very good at doing that.
Mm.
But yet when we do, there's such a richness there in God's
Mm.
presence
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you don't get anywhere else if you're not still.
Mm. Yeah, you know what? There's some synergy there, I think, and where what I've been thinking recently as well. I haven't been able to write a whole lot recently because of just, with the lockdown, and life has just been turned upside down, really,
Yeah.
in many ways for us. Not, we're not at our wits' end or anything like that. It's just life is very, very different. Um, and so I've kind of been thinking, if I can turn out one good piece in a year, I'd rather do that than four or five
Yeah.
60% almost there pieces. Do you know what I mean? So I can see what you're saying about taking your time and respecting the process. Um, I think the punters at the end of the day, I think God would be pleased as well, if we don't rush through these opportunities, and if we can take a bit more time. But hopefully, it would end in a more cohesive piece of music, something with a little bit more quality,
Yeah.
and would serve the Salvation Army more effectively.
Yeah. I think taking the time like that gives you the chance, to go to the depths of yourself.
Mm,
And I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that's where the richness lies.
yeah, yeah. Okay, Dorothy, thank you. And look, before we go, there might be one or two people who are dabbling in composition, or just starting off on the road in composition. What are your tips, as somebody who's been doing this for a fair while now, for somebody who's getting into composition? What would you say to them?
I would say if you're really serious, study harmony, traditional harmony. With a good teacher, find a really good teacher. If that's at school, university, pour yourself into that. And don't stop learning. There's no such thing as arriving. Uh, for me, life as a composer is a journey. It's not a destination. It's not, I am a composer, I have arrived. You're always striving, you're always learning, you're always growing. And for me, perfection will come when I get to heaven in the presence of my Heavenly Father. Then everything will be perfect
Mm,
within, um, the writing included.
yeah, yeah. Thanks for that. Um, it's amazing how many new pieces. I sometimes help people out, if they send me things, and I'm amazed at sometimes how there isn't that fundamental understanding of basic harmony. And when you write, you don't have to abide by all the rules all the time, but you do need to know what the rules are, don't you, to to understand, because there's a lot of maths embedded in those rules, and a lot of science about how music actually works to the human, in the human mind and to the human ear. And yeah, I think that's really good advice for our young composers. Thank you very much for that, Dorothy. Well, look, we've come to the end of our hour.
Well,
Um, it's gone quick.
you're a brilliant host.
Oh, goodness me. I wouldn't be anything if I didn't have any guests. So thank you very much for talking with me, Dorothy. It's been really, really fun to talk about the army, to talk about music making, to talk about our faith as well. All of you who've been watching, thank you so much for joining with us. Thank you for your comments, and sorry we haven't got to all of them. I'll try and respond to them afterwards if that's okay with you. But we hope you've enjoyed being part of this with us, and we hope that you can be encouraged or inspired in some way. That's what this is all about at the end of the day. Now, everybody, I just want to tell you about the next Composer Meets. If I can just get it on screen. Here we go. In 2 weeks' time, on Sunday, the 29th of November, 9 o'clock here in the UK, 1 o'clock over in Los Angeles, I'm going to be talking with Kevin Larson. Now, Kevin is a fine, fine young man. He's somebody that I go back in time with a little bit, and we're going to share with you in a couple of weeks' time some stories from when we worshipped together at the same corps in our early 20s. It's a long, long time ago now. And despite what everybody says about him, and despite the fact that he's very, very tall, I do like him. And and we're going to have great fun talking with Kevin. So in 2 weeks' time, everybody, Sunday the 29th of November, I hope you can join me as I speak with Kevin. So one more time before I go, thank you, Dorothy, for your time tonight. It's been wonderful talking with you, and every blessing to you and Mark and Jackson. And I hope to see you in the very near future.
Hi, Dorothy.
Right.
I thought I'd come and say hello.
All right. We'll just say bye, everyone. Thanks very much indeed. Bye-bye. Bye.